something else. With my morah for over 30 years. When she died, just before she died, she said, my neshama came down for 2 missions, volunteered for 2 missions. To bring you home as a Jew, not a goy. She said the first mission of bringing you home was easy. But the hardest mission was to bring you home as a Jew. She said it's very easy to bring a Jew out of Galut, but it's very hard, she said, to get the Galut out of the Jew. So she said, Baruch Hashem, I've completed my missions, and now I can go home. And she started to die. At that point, they got me out of the room. When we first came here, she couldn't breathe because they saved her in New York from the cancers, but they killed her bone marrow, the stuff that produces red blood cells. So she had problems breathing. So every breath she took was min hashemayim. So she had something very important to tell me. She sat me down. She said, there is a war coming. A very, very, very bad war. And I won't be here to help you. And that got me focused immediately. She said, Eretz HaKodesh is surrounded by a wall, but it's not a wall that Jabotinsky talked about, the iron wall. It isn't that. It's something different. She said, you know, when you go to any international airport, Ben Gurion, Leonardo da Vinci in Rome, Charles de Gaulle in France, Heathrow, JFK, there are immigration officers that ask to see your passport, and they ask you questions. Who are you? Where were you born? What is your business here? What is your business? If you pass it, she said you can come in as a visitor. You're not a local citizen. And then you leave. She said the wall surrounding Eretz HaKodesh is halacha. And there's a very small gate in that wall that she called the Sha'ar HaRabbanut. And they are the passport control officers, guarding the entry of people to the Am. That's inside the wall, she said. We, the Am. And she said, we have to keep the Am as pure and unpolluted as possible. Why? Because she said, the war is coming. And we need as much emunah and bitachon as possible in order to have a Jewish government, a real Jewish government, a Jewish army, and with Jewish generals to lead them like Yoshua bin Nun. And she said, if we have all of these things, we can fight Al Kiddush Hashem, and we can fight Hashem's wars, and we can show him that we're fighting Al Kiddush Hashem, and he'll stop, he'll say, okay, she said, I'll take over. Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will say, I'll take over. And the Geula will come with a kiss rather than blood and suffering. She said the greatest danger to the Am doesn't come from Hamas or Hezbollah or the Iranian bomb. She said, where does it come from? She said it comes from the Erev Rav. Why? Because she said it's the Erev Rav's mission to separate us, to have us fighting each other, one another, to prevent us from becoming the Am, the pure Am that can generate the kind of emunah and bitachon necessary to get God's grace. She said, you know, you can't fight like this. You can't. One group fighting the other. She said the only way you can fight and win is like this. And it's the job of the Rabbanut at that small gate, the Sha'ar HaRabbanut, she called it, to ask questions, just like a passport control officer at Ben Gurion or Charles de Gaulle or Heathrow, any other airport. Who are you? Where do you come from? Who is your mother? And where does she come from? Their job is to make sure that the Erev Rav doesn't come in to our mishpacha, to our am, to pollute us and separate us. And when you hear people talking, she said, about differences, be very careful in terms of how you see them. She had 3 litmus tests for Mihu Yehudi. That was hers. It's not halacha, it's hers. She would ask somebody, do you feel the pain of your brothers? Real pain. Not, yeah, I'm sorry, he's hurting, I'm sorry. No, you feel the pain he does. The second question she would ask somebody is, do you feel the pain of the land? Because the land is Eretz HaKodesh. It's alive. We're part of it, it's part of us. It hurts, we hurt. We hurt, it hurts. And this was during the time, she said, of the balloons coming from Gaza, and they were burning the Negev. And nobody seemed to care up north that they should feel pain. The third was, do you feel the fear of the children? As they're running to the bomb shelters, little children counting 10. They know 10. To get there. And she said, the Yeladim are our future. So what you're saying is, do you feel the fear for our future? And she said, if somebody can't answer yes to those 3 questions, they aren't Jews. This is why when Gadi Eisenkot said, and it almost killed her when she heard this, I don't go after the balloon bombers because it's against my ethics. And then he said, I don't really think the boys, our 2 boys, your brothers, your sons, your cousins, the 2 boys in Gaza, she said, that are flesh of our flesh, that they're a trouble. And that what we need is a peace treaty with Hamas, and the boys will take care of it, later. And she said, he doesn't feel the pain of their neshamas that are begging to come back to be buried in Keth Yisrael. She said he obviously missed that day in yeshiva when they taught the story of the men that came to cut Shaul Melech off the walls of Ashkelon to take him back to Eretz HaKodesh and give him a Jewish burial. Those were men, those were Jewish soldiers. And she said, that man, that Ramat Kal, he doesn't care about the land, he doesn't care about his brother's pain, he doesn't care about the fear for the future. She said, any man who's a general, who said, the job of the general in Yehuda and Shamron is to destroy illegal settlements, is not a Jewish general. There's no such thing as an illegal Jewish settlement in our land. There never will be, there isn't now and never will be. That was her message. This is Eretz HaKodesh, all of it. And we have to defend it as if it's our own life at stake, because it is, she said. So, I thank you very much on her behalf. And I also, a lesson she taught me, I thank you, all of you, my mishpacha, for giving me the opportunity, this zchut, to spend 30 years in Gehenna, learning to be what a Jew is, so she could bring me home. And it's you, good people, my family, by being here, that gave me the zchut to do that. So I thank you for that opportunity. Amen.
תודה רבה לכולם. אנחנו עכשיו נלחם ביחד, בבת אחת, אף אחד לא מתקרב, בבקשה, כי אנחנו ממש בסכנה מבחינת הדוחק. המקום ינחם אתכם בתוך שאר אבני ציון ירושלים, ולא תוסיפו את האהבה עוד. מבקשים עכשיו לצאת, הגברים יוצאים ראשונים, בזריזות לקחת כל אחד מודעה לקראת העצרת לזכר של אסתר מחר שמתקיים פה בכנסת של הרב אליהו ממול. תודה רבה לכולם. אנחנו יודעים שיש פה אנשים שהיו באין ספור הפגנות, התפללו כל השנים, מצטערים שאין לנו אפשרות שכל אחד יוכל להתערב.
Remember אחדות. אחדות, אחדות, אחדות. That's all she talked about. Love your brother and sister. You don't know who they are.
רבה לכולם. במקרה שמישהו פספס, אנחנו נעשה עכשיו בניחום כולם ביחד כדי שאנשים יוכלו לצאת. המקום ינחם אתכם בתוך שאר אבני ציון וירושלים ויטיבו את האהבה.
Thank you, Dr. Jonathan. Thank you so much.
ספור אסתר.
יכול לשבת?
רבותיי, אפשר להתחיל לדבר.
You know how we struggle, but also when we first noticed about the whole issue of the Palestinian pushing to free the Palestinian murderers, we first came with Asher, to find the ways how we can push against the release. The idea was that if we can prevent it, that will be
I should tell you about the release of the murderers.
לגבי השחרור של המחבלים. חברים, בבקשה בינתיים לצאת, בבקשה. אסתר בא לשאול אותי מה אתה אומר על שחרור מחבלים.
And I said never.
חברים, בבקשה להמשיך כדי שיהונתן לא יצטרך לשתוק כדי שאנשים יצאו בבקשה, אנחנו מתנצלים. תודה רבה רבה לכולם.
So I said, she said, okay, that's good. Why? It was always my morale. Why? I said,
אנחנו מתנצלים שאי אפשר להתקרב, בעזרת השם בצמחות ובבשורות טובות, חייבים לפנות שחלילה לא יהיה דוחק במדרגות.
מי שכבר היה יכול להתקדם החוצה.
כל מי שכולם בבקשה לא להתקרב, אפשר לנחם מרחוק ביחד, לצאת לפעם אחרונה ולצאת בבקשה.
ניתן לנו שנייה רגע, אני רוצה להסתכל שתיים למעלה.
כולם ביחד, מי שעוד לא ניחם ואנחנו נצא. המקום ינחם אתכם בתוך שאר אבני ציון וירושלים ולא תוסיפו את האהבה עוד. תודה רבה לכולם. כל מי שיוצא במהירות יכול לכוון בזה, אם נשמעת אסתר יוכבת בת יחיאל אברהם, גם בחסד וגם בשמירת הנפש, שחי לנו כבודו חג ומדרגות. תודה רבה לכולם.